Megan. I am a registered massage therapist and a yoga teacher here at the Coach House. Today we're going to go through some stretching for your pelvis and glutes. So to start, we're going to work on a muscle called piriformis. This muscle runs from the sacrum at the back of your hips, coming over to the greater trochanter or to the thigh bone, and it's responsible for external rotation or opening the legs wide. It tends to be tight in people that sit quite a lot, or athletes, anyone who's doing anything like skating, running, and even cycling to an extent. This muscle tends to be a troublesome one for a lot of people, and it tends to mimic sciatica problems when it gets very tight, so very good to release it for lots of us. So showing you that now. To get into this stretch, we're going to start on our hands and knees. And I'm going to stretch the right side here. So I'm going to pull my right ankle in behind my left hand, letting my knee find the floor. My back leg, my toes are tucked under. I'm just going to slide that leg behind me as I come down into a pigeon. So while I'm here, I have my hips and my belly button pointing forward. You want to be careful about not collapsing into the side. If you find that you really need some support, you can roll up a towel and place it under there. You can choose to stay up tall, particularly if it's tight. Your hands can bear some of the weight of this pose, or you can come down onto your forearms, finding a place to rest. Pigeon is also good for stretching TFL, which is a very small hip flexor. Again, tends to get tight. Cyclists, sitting, long drives. Another way that you can help get into release piriformis is you're going to take your yoga ball, bringing it just underneath right at the glutes, finding a spot to melt into. You can either stay still or you can even rock just gently one side to the next, helping to release. This is going to get more into your lower glutes, unless you come out onto the side and kind of lean into it a little. So whether you use your ball or not, you want to hold your stretch for 30 seconds and coming back out. There is one more way to stretch piriformis that I really like. This time you're going to be laying on your back. So we'll do the other side. To stretch your left leg, you're going to start comfortably laying on your back, bending your knees with your feet flat on the floor. We're going to take our left foot, baby toe side of the left foot, coming up and across your thigh, and this left knee is pulling down and away. So I'm lighting up the outside of the hip. Again, piriformis stretching here, as well as that small TFL for your quads that tend to get tight. So you can stay here and hold for 30 seconds. If you find that as the muscle releases, this stretch isn't quite deep enough, your other option, or your track 2, would be bringing your whole opposite thigh to your face. Now when you do this, this really increases the line of pull. You still need to keep this knee peeling down and away, keeping the muscles engaged, getting length through them. So holding here for 30 seconds. Again, you can use your tune-up ball to help with some release. You're going to bring it under the left side. Knee still peeling down and away. You can find a soft spot, just leaning on it, letting it melt, or even just gently rocking and going side to side, left to right, allowing for a little bit of opening. Good. Leaving piriformis behind us, we're going to come into the glutes themselves, starting with glute max. It's the biggest muscle in your body, and it takes up the whole back end of the pelvis, attaching into the lower leg. So to stretch the left side, I'm going to bring the left knee up towards my chest, right over the rib cages. Hands are going to reach for the top of my shin, gently compressing my leg over my chest. My opposite leg can choose to stay bent and flat on the floor, or if it feels better, it can stretch long. That's really personal choice. I'm holding here for 30 seconds, letting the back of the leg loosen. Nice long line of pull for the glutes. Releasing glute max, we're going to get into 2 of the small stabilizing muscles, glute minor and glute medius. These are small fan-shaped muscles that sit right at the top side of your pelvis. In order to get into these external rotators again, we're going to have to bring into a little bit of internal rotation. So other leg either long or bent. If we're going to stretch the left side, I'm going to start by pulling my knee over my chest. And while keeping my hips flat on the floor, I'm aiming to bring my left knee over towards my right shoulder. So I'm not twisting all the way over, I'm just bringing a small line of pull coming this way through the body, helping to light up through the hip here. Once I find that line of pull, hanging out here for 30 seconds, letting my breath stay steady. Good. And releasing here. To get in with my ball for these, I like to do the sideline. You're going to find your ball comfortably on your mat, coming right up to the top of your hips, and you're just leaning either straight down, or again, you can kind of rock forwards and backwards, letting them roll pretty much to the sides of your hips here. This one can be, they're small muscles, so you certainly feel it. It can be a little harder to get a large motion to demonstrate it. But again, you're aiming for right at the sides of the hips. And then one last movement today to help release the lower back. A great deal of back tension happens from prolonged sitting, driving, cycling, or even running when the glutes aren't activating the way that they should. So this is a moving stretch. I like to recommend it to people who do any of these activities a fair amount, and it's really good to do first thing in the morning, particularly if you wake up with a stiff back. So you're going to walk your feet very wide. You'll notice my feet have come wider than my hips. My arms are just going to be out of the way. Big breath into your belly, let it rise. And as I exhale, both knees are going to come over to the right. I'm going to stay on this side for a full breath in. And a full breath out. Using my next inhale to get me up through the center. Next exhale to drop down to the other side. Staying here for a full breath in and a full breath out. And just slowly continuing. So this windshield wipering exercise you can continue for a minute or two. Again, we're getting a little bit of a release in through the lower back and the lower body here. We're helping to get some movement between the SI joints at the back of the pelvis. And it's just good for people who find that they tend to get tight through the low back pain, or tension. So you can continue this as long as feels comfortable, or for about a minute. Sounds short, but it always feels longer when you're in it. And with that, that concludes our glutes and lower hips stretches for the day.